Pamela Waldrop Shaw, and I'm so excited to be with you tonight as we talk about 30 days to an amazing habit. Anybody ready? Anybody need a new habit? Anybody want a new habit? Anybody want a different momentum? Well, we're going to jump into that tonight. So again, thank you for joining me. I'm Pamela Waldrop Shaw, author of Design Your Life 90-Day Planner, Prayer Journal, and Breakthrough Goal Setting Workbook. And if you have friends tonight who would like to hear a little bit more about designing your life and living in your vision and becoming all that God designed and created you to be, I'm going to ask you to share your screen with your friends. Just click your share button and they'll know to come watch and they can pick up right where we are. Thank you so much for joining me and thank you for the love. I thought that on summertime night, 7 o'clock is the earliest we need to do it because it's daylight long and we've got a lot to do on Sunday afternoons, but let's jump in. The 30-day habit can bring a tremendous 30-day impact. You know, Christine Kane posted recently on her Instagram, you grow where you need to go. You don't start where you need to end. You grow where you need to go. You don't start where you need to end. Most of us would like to start our habit where we need to end our habit. Most of us would need to start our lives at the evolution, the maturity, the wisdom, where we may end our lives. And so our thoughts swirl and we go kind of crazy in our own thinking, and many of our thoughts are not kind. They're not kind to ourselves. They're not kind about others. We know something needs to give. We know something that needs our attention in the way we're doing or thinking or not doing, but oftentimes feel overwhelmed at where to start or how to prioritize. And so this lures us back into our familiar patterns, our familiar, debilitating as they are, we come back into familiar patterns. Today, this morning, I posted on Instagram, I love the sound of my feet walking away from things that don't belong to me, walking away from relationships, walking away from habits, walking away from patterns. And I use the analogy of sewing. I grew up with a mother who was a home economics teacher, and she was a phenomenal seamstress. And so she taught me early on how to cook. I could make a pie crust from scratch when I was 9 years old, like a chocolate cream pie from scratch with meringue and everything, and how to sew. And I was okay at both. But in sewing, you used to go and select a pattern. Vogue patterns were the hardest. McCall were okay. Simplicity were the easiest. And you select your pattern and your size. And when you lay the pattern out on the floor of the fabric, well, we would lay fabric on the floor and then pin the pattern all the way around and then cut the pattern. Let's say the pattern is for a dress. Well, when you sew the pattern by following the instructions, you're not going to get a pair of pants. Patterns are that way in our lives. The patterns we create produce a result. How do you know what result your patterns are producing? Well, they're where you are right now. Where you are right now is a result of the fabric, the pattern, and the cut. And the more you repeat that over and over, the more you get the same outcome. So in what area would you like a different outcome? We just need a different pattern. Do you want a simplicity pattern? Do you want a McCall's pattern? Do you want a Vogue pattern? Do you want a custom pattern? But either way, we've got to redesign it because we can't keep going back to familiar patterns and expect a different outcome. So all people will benefit by spiritual and personal growth. Knowing God fully and in a union that is nothing short of supernatural always gives us insight into our own self and into our way of thinking. And that mindful connection to Holy Spirit creates in us an awareness. But we have to be still and we have to hear, and then we have to be humbled without an agenda and resigned to obey and take action. So I imagine most of you watching are entrepreneurs. You have a business or you're building a business because that's often the common ground that connects us. And so I'm going to kind of run tonight's 30-day momentum, 30-day impact, 30 days to an automated habit that's going to serve you well and give you a lot in these next 30 days. It's not just going to be 30 days of working towards the habit. It's going to be integrating the habit, and it's going to be getting a result in 30 days that's mind-blowing. Are you ready for that? Okay. Share your screen with your friends. But you don't have to be building a business just to benefit from this conversation. So, okay, truth, 90 days. You can change anything in 90 days. Pam, I don't have 90 days. I got 30 days, actually 28 days. I have to finish a really big goal in 30 days. And I'm gonna say, I get you. I do too. I get you. But it takes 21 days to begin a neural pathway redirect for your habit formation. It takes 63 consistent days for that habit to form. Pam, I don't need a habit. I need a miracle. I need a miracle in 30 days, given the amount of time I have in the finish line. I know, I get you, and I'm going to get to that. I invite you to embrace the process of accumulation. You're somebody who's already been investing in the 90-day process and the goal-setting process. You've already grown. So let's give yourself a big check mark and a celebration for how you've already grown. If you've been following me and applying the Design Your Life message, you've grown, because awareness alone is growth. I want to empower you to believe and to own and to live the wild impact of a 30-day goal and goal accomplishment, creating an automated action for one thing. And that's where we're going to go. Keep in mind that the rest of your life and world does go on. You can't just put everything else on pause and go, okay, just the one thing. No, you still have to wake up and shower and work out. And, yeah, there are a lot of things that you're still going to do as we hyper focus on this one thing. If you set your goal in wellness, you'll still need to work and parent and produce and so on. If you set your goal in your business, you'll still need to parent and work out and so on. So all of the responsibilities don't get a pass and they don't get a pause. You, however, will get a boost and a benefit in all other areas because of the one area that you decide to kick in louder. So how do you decide? Well, the best method to decide on where to invest growth in this next season of life would take exploratory time. Not unlike the December 26th goal-setting workshop that I recorded for you. And that is posted on pamelashaw.pink if you want to watch it. It's a long one. That's the best way. We don't have time for that. If that particular time, I started you in Breakthrough Goal Setting Workbook. This is about a 12 to 18 hour process, but there is a free shortcut to goal setting on pamelashaw.pink if you want to download the free shortcut. So the possibility is you can either grab your workbook and go back and review, working through the prayer journal, which of course I really do believe is a daily habit to great insight. In fact, you may have gotten on tonight because you already have some insight based on working through these two tools. But to grab this month, I'm not recommending a deep dive. That's not what we're after. I would recommend, however, doing a breakthrough goal setting workbook 2 times a year. So for me, that's December, and I'll do it again in July. So if you don't have yours ready to go, second half of the year, go ahead and grab it, pamelashaw.pink. I like to work from a fresh schedule and a fresh blank template when I'm setting goals mid-year. My prayer journal, I go to the front of that once a week on Sundays. In the front is where all of the the meaty stuff is written out, the goals and the recommitment and who to pray for, and the details are in the front. I'll do that once a week on Sundays. And that also helps me stay on course and decide. And then of course the 90-day planner, that was the first tool. I want to say thank you to those of you who message me, write me, post about it, using the hashtags that I put in this particular Facebook post. When you send me messages on my Insta story chat, your messages and your email you and has renovated the way you think and the way you do your days and the way you goal set and the way you serve others and your family. It fills my heart and beyond gratifying. So a quick second to show you those. I've already shown you the Breakthrough Goal Setting Workbook, the planner, the prayer journal, and of course the 90-day planner. This is a big one, 8.5 by 11. I do still work from the classic size. It all comes down to what's going on in the day. And so dive. The Goal Setting Workbook and the daily prayer journal. I would say the prayer journal and the 90-day planner are for now and for day-to-day. And for this 30 days, and if you owe yourself a deep dive on July 1st. A great long holiday exercise over July 4th from the lake or in your backyard or at Starbucks. But give yourself that. Okay, let's grab the 30. Let's come back to the 30 because that's why you're on. You want a 30-day impact. You want the benefit of a 30-day goal. You want to know how to decide on it. You want to know how to grab it. You want to know how to implement it. And you want to know how it's going to give you the finish line, big goal, big result that you want. So let's grab the 30-day goal. What is it? What is your 30-day habit? You'll know the answer. Let me ask you some questions to help you confirm the answer. What is the one thing you think about the most that you know needs your attention? What is the one thing in your life that you think about the most that you know needs your attention? Something to start, something to stop, something to ask for guidance on, something to confess to someone, something to engage an expert with, something that needs accountability, a coach, tracking, honesty. What is that one thing? If your mind is swirling like a ball with several moving parts, like the little lottery ball, you know, that they do on TV when there's a big lottery, all those little balls running around. If that's the way your mind feels right now, and they're in opposite tandem, your mind is trying to tell you to pick something else. You will always be confused when you know the one thing, but you go searching for a better answer or a different answer, or it's the thing you don't want to do or address. I'm going to tell you something. That one thing that you already know about that you want and need to address, it may feel like a big monster that's going to cave in on you, but really it's just a little bitty dot. It's like one of these little bitty dots. It's nothing. Once you put it on and take it on. Change starts with honest vulnerability. What's your one thing? You know it. Write it down or write it here. Write it in the chat. This is a safe audience to be your first knower of what your one thing is. Hey, if you're liking the direction this is going and you think it's going to end in a place that would benefit your friends on Facebook, please hit your share button because I'm going to keep going. Let this safe audience be your first knower. Hey, it's likely you need a power partner and a coach for accountability. People who have skin in the game with you. But sometimes just saying it, putting it out there, it's a definitive start for you. Okay, have you decided your one habit this month that would benefit you in absolutely everything that you do? That if you nail this one thing, your confidence would grow, your energy would grow. You would know that you're taking on the thing that you've been dodging or trying or stabbing at before. Deciding on one thing for the next 30 days ahead. We're going to create an automated action in 30 days starting now on that one thing. Okay? Actions become habits. And I want the action that you do to become automated. See, I'm gonna do an online academy for automated habits because it's the most simple thing and it's the most hard thing. And when you go to school on this and you start applying it to yourself, I'm telling you, your whole life will renovate and you'll actually feel like you're living in your skin in such a comfortable, beautiful way because you're authentically you and you're not dodging or trying to hide from other people and you're not afraid you're going to get found out by other people. You're owning and you're in front of it all. So each day you have to fit this action in that we're talking about. So a habit in 30 days is going to look like an automated action. How do you fit it in within the frame of your day? Okay, the one thing I want to take you to is, first of all, it's in the prayer journal. Okay, so whatever your category is, it's going to have to fit into the frame of your day. These are not paged, but on the page where it says key behaviors and then it says frame my day, morning and evening. I'm going to read to you the frame of my morning and my evening so that you can get an idea of what a frame of your day actually looks like. And now with this one thing that you've written down that you want to own in 30 days and turn it from a mind or a thought into an automated action every single day, something that you start, something that you stop, something that's going to make a difference in the way you think, the clarity of your life, the honesty and vulnerability of it. It's got to fit in the frame of your day. By the frame of your day, I mean the first 2 hours and the last hour. What frames your day? This constant framing of your day, what's consistent in the morning and the evening, it becomes a character trait of who you are. Many people wake up and their minds go crazy all of a sudden. They're depressed and they're worried from the get-go. When I wake up, I will say a scripture this is the day the Lord has made. I'm going to rejoice and be glad in it. I'm going to walk through a conversation in my mind to bring myself to a place of stillness, because I know that last night I already put in order the way that my day was going to go. And I already know what habits that I'm working on, because I wrote it in my 90-day planner. And it's going to be the same key behaviors. It's going to be here again today. And the one word or phrase that's going to drive it, because I've made that decision. So I don't have to wake up and feel like I got to figure it all out all over again. Okay, let's go back to the prayer journal. Let's go back to the place in the beginning where you are writing down your key behaviors and your framing of your day. So my key behaviors, what I've got, I wrote down 3 of them, and the 3 are frame my day, and then I'm going to add declutter to that. Number 2, weekly schedule, MVP 9 hours, the most valuable 9 that I have left are devoted to writing. And then number 3, capture my thoughts. When I first set this up in January, I was having some challenge with just the way I was thinking and things I was thinking about, and I needed to capture them immediately and take charge of them. And so I wrote down adjectives that I want to define and describe the way I'm thinking. I want them to be godly, kind, aware, encouraging, courageous and fearless, grateful, purpose-filled, creative, intentional, a world influencer. The frame of my day, AM. Up at 5 a.m., oil pull, coffee, quiet time, BSF. Of course, that has ended now for the summer, but my quiet time. Affirmations, dog, dress, dry brush. D1, respond to technology, eat, 6 most. That's the front frame of my day. The end frame of my day, reset tomorrow plus my sticky note. So I'm talking about put my design planner together plus detail it half hour at a time. Set supplements out, set coffee out, crate the dog, set the house alarm, bed, face, body, PM supplements, massage, retainer, PM affirmations. Okay, that's the frame. Now, on this side, I've got my strengths. What are your strengths? I've got my top 10. Maximizer, strategic, belief, responsibility, activator. Those are my top 5. And 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 are relator, achiever, futuristic, significance, learner. And I'm in number 3, Enneagram. How does that fit into it? Psalm 139:13. For you created my inmost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. Those are not an accident. Those are not a trophy. That's who God made me to be. So what do you want most, and how will you honor each? Why am I reading these to you? Because I want you to wrap your head around the one thing. So what do I want most? I'm writing down based on the way I've set my goals in my design book and the front of my prayer journal, the way that I've set my goals. This is a repeat. So I'm saying, what do I want most? I want to honor you, Lord. How will I honor you? By staying connected. I want peace of heart. How will I honor that? By capturing my thoughts. I want to create wealth. How will I honor that? By not shopping. I want to be an ENSD. How will I honor that? Through my Titus 2 and coaching leaders. I want to swell design your life. How am I honoring that? I want to create value that's free for people. I want family closeness. How do I honor that? I give love. I want a healthy and fit body at 115 pounds and 15% body fat. How do I honor that? 100% organic, nutritious, and accountable. So I'm going to invite you to look back at the frame of your day and at what's important to you based on your strengths and talents, what you want the most, and how you're honoring that, and how does that fit into the one thing that you just now said. What's the one thing that you know it's time for you to take it on and to bring it and to create an automatic action this month? You're like, okay, I got it, but I don't see how that's going to take me across my finish line. Okay, I'm getting there. See, the biggest challenge is that we don't see how our habits or the admittance of our habit or the submission of our habit opens up the floodgates. It opens up the floodgates. So when I say I'm going to start or I'm going to stop something, okay, let's say for me, I'm going to stop drinking coffee after 3 p.m. The caffeine, I've had enough by then, but it's tempting to me because when I'm working from home, it's kind of comfortable. I like the sound of it. I like the smell of it. I'll drink a few sips. It gets lukewarm. I throw it out and I start over again. But my habit of stopping that, because sometimes it might interrupt my sleep or it might not allow me to get to sleep as early as I want to. And what I now know is that the quality of my sleep and the amount of my sleep is equal to my nutrition, is equal to exercise and workout, both sympathetic and parasympathetic workout, is equal to my thought life. They're all related to my health. So if coffee after 3 interrupts my thinking, my sleep time, the depth of my sleep, then it affects my wake time, which affects my quiet time, which affects my workout, which affects the productivity of my day. So it all goes back to coffee after 3. See, the things that happen when I say, I really know I need to stop this, or I really know I need to start this. What we don't understand is how interconnected that one little thing is to everything else. So your one automatic action this month when you say, okay, ollie income free, I'm done with it. I'm done with it. Whatever it is. When you own it, you unleash, you unlock, you attract, you create a space for so much more. What is your one thing this month that you're going to stop, that you're going to start? So what do I do now to stop drinking coffee? Because I still want something, right? Water tastes so good and I drink a lot of it, but it's only tastes so good for so long. There's always sleepy time tea, but that is sleepy time tea. So I don't do that until like 7 or 8 o'clock at night. I make prime tea. So by noon every day or before 3 every day, I make prime tea from Dr. Colry Charter. I make it every day. It's part of my gut health that I consume along with ashwagandha and brahmi and guggul. And oil pulling is associated with the Ayurvedic habits and practices that I learned from her, because your brain long-term is only be as healthy as your gut. So you got to take care of your gut. But anyway, so I make prime tea. It's the solution. Is it as good as coffee? No. Does it smell as good as coffee? No. Is it good? Yes. Is it good for me? Yes. Do I have integrity when I choose that to keep that habit instead of, well, I can have coffee after 3. It might not mess up my sleep tonight. It's worth the risk. If I'm always cheating the edge. One thing I used to say to my son, okay, here is everything you can do. Why do you go to the line of like jumping off the cliff of the thing you can't do? Come back to all the things you can do. There's so much you can do. There's so much you can have. But if you hyper focus on the one thing you can't have, the one thing you can't eat, the one thing you can't drink, the one thing you can't do, it's like Adam and Eve and the apple. Come on, people. We know how this story plays out. What's your one thing? Okay. Do you understand that your one automated action this month, your 30 days to this goal? First of all, you're going to get it. Because if you repeat it in 21 days, you're going to get it. I remember I have on long sleeves tonight, so you can't see my biceps that I have worked so hard on. But I remember when I first started doing a 90-day workout. The first 30 days I didn't see so much, but on about day 45, I'm like, I think I see a bicep. Oh my gosh, I think I see a bicep. And so now years later, I can see veins. Okay, I'm not bragging, but I'm just saying the process of accumulation works in your favor too. It's the hit or miss that we do. It's the, I'm going to do this, I'm not going to do this. I'm going to do this, I'm not going to do this. I'm going to stop this, I'm not going to stop this. It's that back and forth, that indecisive. And we don't have integrity with ourselves. And then we shame ourselves and we blame ourselves. And then we fail because we don't understand how that one thing is so connected to everything else. Here's everything else you can do. You can do all of this. You just can't do this one thing. Now, what's your one thing that you're going to add or take away? What's your one automated habit? Here's a 3-step solution to making it happen. Number 1, decide what is the biggest impact you want to make with this habit. What do you really want at the end of this month? It may seem completely unrelated to the habit. What do you really want? June 30th, what do you really want? Decide what's the biggest impact you want to make that you want to tie to. Like, if I do this, then I know that I'm setting myself up for that outcome because of the integrity of it, because it's been on my mind. Are you with me? Number 2, so number 1 is decide what's the biggest impact you want to make with the habit. Number 2, define your accountability. Define your accountability. Nothing happens without accountability. So I have, at different seasons, worked with different friends in my own personal accountability. For 2 or 3 years, I worked with one friend, and we texted each other every day 3 or 4 times a day. What we ate for breakfast, what we ate for lunch, what we ate for dinner, what we did for exercise, what the macros were on all of that, what the totals were at the end of the day. I did that for 2 or 3 years. That's when I really learned to understand food. I've done that with other friends to support and help them get on track for the way they want to eat. I've seen friends of mine jump into keto and intermittent fasting for a couple weeks and drop 10 pounds just like that with the accountability. Ran into a friend, did a hot yoga class with a friend last night, yesterday afternoon with her and her son, and she shared with me that she had paid upwards of $200 to join a group of accountability where they check in every day with their macros. And it's working. Guess what? Accountability works. And it doesn't need to cost money. It can be for free with the right accountability partners. 1, decide what you want at the end of the month. Not related to the habit, just what do you want at the end of the month? What's on your mind with your business, with your life, with your children, with your family, with your spouse, with your finances, with your whatever it is. What do you want at the end of the month? Decide. Number 2, define your accountability partner and your coach. Who cares enough about you to create accountability? Or somebody else working on a similar goal, you could be accountable with each other. Number 3, but here's the problem sometimes with power partners. They're glad when you get off course because that lets them off course. So be careful that you don't select a pitiful partner, because power partners, they're going to make it happen no matter what. Pitiful partners, they just kind of want to be in a group. And you got to be very careful about groups you get aligned with, whether it's on Facebook or Voxer or anything else, because oftentimes there can be a group mentality. And the group mentality can move everybody in a similar direction. Unless everybody is going in the direction that they want to go, that might not be a good thing. You might need to extract yourself from that. So define your accountability partner or coach. And number 3, determine what actions will create that outcome. Number 4, this is the best one. Delight in an imagined future. Delight in an imagined future. So after I get off in about 15 minutes, you're going to write out those 4 Ds if you didn't write them down. So somebody jot them down on the chat. Decide what's the biggest impact you want to make with this habit. Number 2, define your accountability partner and coach. Number 3, determine what actions will create the outcome. So for your habit that we're talking about, this automated habit, what action needs to take place in order to stop or start what we're talking about, this 30-day habit? You're going to own it in 30 days. And then number 4, delight. Think about it. Ruminate on it. Park on it. Consider it. Write it down. Create a vision board. I got a vision board right here. I got a vision board right here. Let's see. Here are my abs. Okay. There you go. Fit and lean. Here is some ranking dreaming, right? Okay. Here is, it's a vision board. I see it every day. And the days that I see it, when it's where I'm working, I operate differently from days that I don't see it. So after you get off in about 15 minutes, you're going to write out those 4 Ds that I just gave you, and then you're going to invest 1 hour sealing it all up, including a visual of what this habit is going to bring into your life. Now, I want you to hear me on this. Again, I'm going to repeat it. Your automated action that you're going after, your habit that you're going after, they have nothing intellectually to do with your finish line. But what I want you to know is that it has everything to do with your finish line. Because when you honor the integrity of what you know that you know that you know, you must do. Maybe it's an action you need to do for your business. Maybe it's an action you need to do in a relationship. Maybe it is an action you need to start or action you need to stop. Whatever it is, it may have nothing seemingly to do with your finish line victory, but it has everything to do with your finish line victory. And I'm telling you, you're going to get a different outcome when you honor this. So that as you, I want you to create a visual. It can be fast, cut things out, put it on a poster board. Don't go out shopping. Don't spend all night doing it. Take an hour. How you will delight in the future that God has intended for you. That as you remove this obstacle of sabotage from your life by creating a new, more preferable automated habit, you open the flow. Will you give yourself that hour tonight to get prepared for the rest of this 30-day growth? Now, it's tactical. Each day will present many things to you, many responsibilities, many known circumstances and situations, and then there are always those that have surprise. And the 90-day planner is stacked with built-in nuggets that as you go through the process of filling out every single day, they create habits. I grimace when somebody designs a planner by pulling components from somebody else's planner, but they never have lived the process. They're just trying to sell a planner. I grimace because there's something lacking integrity in that. It may be a good looking planner. It may be an expensive planner. It may be in a leather bound book. It may be a download. But if you haven't lived the process, there's a different level of integrity in it. I've lived the process now for over 21 years, and even years before that in snippets of my life prior to the planner. But one thing I know, when you detail tomorrow before you go to bed tonight, you have an intentional day that is planned and set. Of course, there has to be a little wiggle room for flexibility, which is different from procrastination. But I promise you, when you tighten it up before you go to bed tonight and you take the time to detail your planner and to get everything in place, what time you're going to get up, your 6 most, who you're going to call, who you're going to write, what you're going to do in the evenings, what you're going to delegate, family time, half hour at a time schedule, perhaps a duplicate of it on a sticky pad. When you set that up tonight from your master list of what you know would make a fantastic day tomorrow, you're going to operate differently. The master list, it's wrapped into in your 3 category goals for this 90 days. You've got you're operating from 3 different things. Your master list, all the things that you want to do or delegate or automate. And then you've got a prioritized list included in your space between 7 days. I just did my space between 7 days in between this week and next week in my 90-day planner. So that's your prioritized list of what's coming next in 7 days. And then you've got your daily small list. That's today. Actually, it's set up for tomorrow. What's urgent and what's now. When you set your day up tomorrow, tonight, before you go to bed, you sleep easily. You don't start thinking of things that you need to write down or that you meant to do or that you hope you don't forget, and that you wake up in the morning and you go, oh, what was I thinking of last night? I forgot, because you think you're going to remember and then you don't. When you set tomorrow up tonight, you go to bed with ease, you wake up with ease. Today, what is important and urgent now? Waking up without your head swirling, but waking up after sleeping a solid 7 to 8 hours uninterrupted peacefully because your mind wasn't racing. Your frame stabilizes your day. Your lists free you from having to keep prioritizing decisions. Decide once, write once, and then have the flexibility in your day to reshuffle if you need to, but not procrastinate. Your half-hour sticky pad frees you from thinking there's a better time for the task than the time at hand, because you've already decided it once and you've written it in there once. The first 5 minutes of any task is where the battle is. It's in the first 5 minutes, just getting started, just getting started, just start the task, just start the 20 calls, just dial the first one, just book it. But as an entrepreneur, if you never feel finished, you're right. Because when you work with people or lead people without a plan or delegated help, or well thought out systems to integrate, you can go in circles 24/7, and you will. But when you work with people and or when you work as an entrepreneur and or when you work from home, you could work in a way to exhaust yourself because there's no official ending time. You know there will always be one more person to call, one more thing to do. So that's why you must adhere to today's list. So that when you check it all off, you're done, except in June. Except in June, because for many of you, it's the Super Bowl of your year. Knowing your season is also important. Safeguarding or protecting more downtime will not yield a peaceful impact or a healthy life. If you're always on the edge of, oh, I need more time with my kids, or I need more downtime, or I need more away time, and you're always justifying that will not necessarily yield what you're looking for either. It's a matter of balance in your life and your season of life. What's your one thing? That one thing I'm talking about and that one thing I'm referencing that you're going to have to decide and determine and have who the delegation factor is going to be, who your accountability is going to be, who your mentor is going to be. If I err, I will err serving and connecting with others over taking a break, watching TV, even a movie. Lottie. But that's me. Where am I going? Is this checking things off your list? When you have a list and you check things off your list, you're free. And did you know that when you check things off your list, you're done? And did you know that when you check things off your list, it engages the 4 feel-good hormones: endorphins, oxytocin, serotonin, and dopamine, the things that drug addicts crave. When you check something off your list, those feel-good hormones are engaged. You have to set a schedule and a method that works for you. Know your Super Bowl season, whatever that is, and go hard. Some people never go hard enough for long enough to get a result. And so they always feel worn out and defeated, and they give up on their dreams. Know your time for R&R. Motivation gets you started, but habits keep you going. Accountability will cause you to win. Without accountability, you're left to yourself. Why would a person say, no accountability for me? I got this. Pride, fear of failure, fear of other people seeing you miss. I'm really going to encourage you with this piece. I hang out with some of the highest producing, most successful men and women on the planet. And they all have a coach. They all have accountability. They all have transparency and engagement. They all have a vision of where they're going, and they live out and delight in the future of that vision. And they are constantly in growth mode, working on implementing one good habit by putting something in or taking something out. Motivation. You are watching. Habits, the one thing you're deciding. Accountability, who will you engage tonight for support on your journey? So number 1, decide what's the biggest impact you want to make with this habit. Where do you want to land, and what's the habit that you're going to go, I'm owning it, I'm being honest, I'm being vulnerable, I'm being transparent, I'm in the game, I'm not going to hide, I'm going to do this. This sounds like a really dumb habit. Anybody else would go, that's dumb, or you got that, or are you kidding, that's your habit? But you know what it is. And I'm telling you, if you know what it is, and if you're acting like you don't know what it is, I'm going to call on that. If you're saying, I don't know what it is, I'm just going to call on that. I'm going to call on that. Because you do know. Because you've tried it before, or you've meant to, or you've been thinking about it. And what I'm going to tell you is that when you step into owning it, you unleash your end of month finish line. Decide what the biggest impact is. Number 2, define your accountability and your power partner. Number 3, determine what actions will create that outcome. Now we're going back to framing your day. With the habit, you're to make it an automated action, you're going to have to start something or stop something. Okay. When I started oil pulling, what is oil pulling? You can look it up. Why did you start that? Because I read deeper into the prime and read really how very helpful it is that oil will pull the germs from your mouth and from your teeth and in between, and it's a very healthful practice. But when I did that, I couldn't remember in the mornings to do it. So I literally had to set the sesame oil and the tongue scraper like right on the edge of my sink so that I would have to like bump them in order to implement the habit. So my night, notice how I added oil pulling to that. So literally after I've set the coffee downstairs and done the dog crating and all that, the alarm and all that stuff, and come upstairs, now I'm reframing those other little things to make sure that the habits that I say that I want, I have created an environment to make them work. What I didn't read on there was that I take my air conditioning super low. And you can look the research up on this if you want to, but people sleep deeper when the air is cold, 62 to 66 degrees, and 66 is too hot for me. So 60, and that's a fact, but that's one of the things that I do at night. So with your habit that you just said, with your automated action that you want to create, where do you need to put the oil? In other words, where do you need to set the thermostat? How does that fit into the frame of your morning or your night? Let's say you're trying to stop something. Let's say you're a smoker and you're trying to stop. And that's a big one because nicotine is one of the most addictive substances over opiates, actually. It's very addictive. So let's say you want to stop smoking, okay? There are a lot of experts who can talk to you about this, but the reality is ultimately something will have to replace the smoke. Some activity, gum, something is going to have to replace the getting off of the smoking. So let's say it's coffee. Let's say it's my 3 o'clock coffee. What's going to replace that? You cannot just stop something or start something, because your body is already designed to be drawn to this thing that you aren't doing or that you are doing. So what is that going to look like? Determine what actions will create that outcome. Okay. And then number 4, delight in an imagined future. What's the benefit to you? How's this going to impact you on your vision board and your backdrop? So 30 days to a more preferred future. 30 days to an automated action becomes your habit. 30 days to greater confidence, more peace, and greater effectiveness. Any of the tools that I've mentioned, if you order them before 5 p.m. and it's after 5 p.m. Central now, anytime you order them before 5 p.m., they're shipped the next working day. And then after 5 p.m., the second business day. Check out the other free videos that I have on PamelaShaw.pink, because there are lots of them to support you in working with these tools and in goal setting in a larger capacity. But right now, we're on the shortcut to goal setting. We want something amazing to happen in 30 days. Raise your hand. Send me an emoji if you've got a big honking goal that you have got to finish at the end of this month, and your mind is racing and you're like, is this really the best time to implement a habit? Yeah, you've got big things to do. I want you to trust me in this. And then I want you to, at the end of June, I want you to come back, circle back around. I'm going to invite you to remember this conversation. And I'm going to ask you to be vulnerable enough to post a picture on my wall with the same 3 hashtags that I have here. Hashtag design your life. Hashtag 90-day planner. Hashtag breakthrough academy. Because you're going to interrupt your pattern this month. And I'm telling you that when you do the honest, vulnerable thing and you add or subtract whatever it is in your life that's on your mind that you had an easy time writing out what it was, that you're opening the floodgates, that you're unleashing the potential of the law of attraction to come back at you. Your confidence will soar. You'll have a story. Hey, if there's something you've overcome and it's not a part of your story and other people don't know it, I question if you've overcome it. But aren't we all inspired when somebody overcomes something? Then they make it a part of their story and they share what they have gone through vulnerably, so that who they are way after they've gone through it, not in the middle of it, way after they've accomplished it, way after I moved through grief, way after I dealt with addiction in my family, way after I lost primary relationships to death, way after ALS, way after. You share way after, not in the middle. It's not a good time to share. But after 30 days, I'm going to invite you to share what you gave up, what you added, how you integrated, and how that impacted the rest of your life, your other goals, your other relationships, your finances, your fitness, the other things you're after. Because I'm telling you what, it's going to. God bless you. Godspeed. Shine brightly. I cannot wait to celebrate the new, improved, accelerated version of you and your wins by June 30th. Good night.